Role of agriculture in fostering growth and opportunity in Liberia. Greetings, everyone. My name is Sergeant Lawrence Kwame Totimeh Jr., a U.S. Army combat veteran, educator, high school championship women's basketball coach, and now a farmer. My journey to farming may seem unexpected, but it was driven by a desire to make a difference in my parents' home country of Liberia. When we think about farming, our minds often conjure images of soil, crops, and livestock. However, farming offers us more than just food and agricultural products. It provides us with valuable lessons that can inspire us to create a better future for ourselves and our nation. Farming teaches us about the importance of hard work, persistence, and patience, key traits in developing humans and society. Farmers understand that success doesn't happen overnight, but rather it's a result of consistent and diligent effort. They also know that nature can be unpredictable and setbacks can occur, but with resilience and determination, they can overcome these challenges. So let's get into it. For those of you who may not be familiar, which I hope everybody is, Liberia is a small country founded off the west coast of Africa in 1847 by freed enslaved African Americans. Most recently, our thriving nation and beacon of hope to the continent was ravaged by 14 years of civil war between 1989 and 2003. The effects are still being felt 20 years later. Liberia has struggled with development and food insecurity for years, even though she is blessed with miles and miles of fertile land. 48% of the population in Liberia lives below the national poverty line, and 60% of that population depends on agriculture for their daily livelihoods. So how do we change this? How do we, the younger generation, begin to repair the countless damages that prevent us from reaching our full potential as Africans and as a nation? We do it by developing the mindset of a farmer. So imagine a small round seed. It's hard to believe that something so tiny could hold such enormous potential, but that's the magic of agriculture. Agriculture has the power to transform a single seed into a thriving plant capable of nourishing countless people and contributing to sustainable food systems. In fact, agriculture has the power to nurture and cultivate potential in many areas, from economic development to education and uplifting struggling societies. From seed to success, the role of agriculture in fostering growth and opportunities in Liberia. The phrase itself suggests the various ways in which plants can serve as a metaphor for personal and professional growth. Plants are a great example of how the power of intentionality, patience, and consistency can lead to success. The process of planting, watering, and nurturing a seed until it grows into a mature plant takes time and effort, but the end result is worth it. Just like plants, we and society must adapt to the changing conditions of the world in order to survive and thrive. Life is full of challenges, and we must learn to be resilient to overcome setbacks. Curveballs will be thrown at us, but it's our ability to adapt and keep going that defines our strength. I learned this lesson in 2020 when I left my career as a coach and educator in Los Angeles, California, and moved back to Liberia to become a cassava farmer. My plan was simple: unite my community towards a goal of development through cassava farming and value addition by making gari. We would then ensure that their crops would always have a buyer, and the value addition would create jobs, relieving the economic burden many people in the interior face. But as we all know in this room, nothing in Africa is as simple as it seems. Cassava is an incredible example of perseverance. It can flourish in the intense tropical climatic conditions of Liberia, much like ourselves. In college, I learned a saying that stuck with me to this day. The only thing that remains constant in this universe is change. Those who can adapt persevere. Those who cannot merely fade away. It made me understand that our greatest obstacle in developing our country isn't necessarily our environment, but rather the ability to assess existing societal requirements, make changes, and put mechanisms in place to develop the talents required to do great things. So in our first crop rotation of planting cassava, we also planted plantain between them to add a potentially new revenue source, if you will. Unfortunately, we learned due to the makeup of our soil, all of the planting had died. That was a moment that I will never forget. The cassava was barely coming out of the ground and the planting was laying on the ground. I felt as though I had failed. I witnessed with my own eyes planting growing all around my land, but why wouldn't it grow on my land? I started second guessing myself. I was ready to quit. I started looking for something or someone to blame. But then I remember what I tell my basketball girls. Taking responsibility for your own growth and development is your responsibility. Just as it's our responsibility to take care of our own lives and make intentional decisions to develop and grow, we must also understand that the environment our plants need in order for them to thrive is our responsibility. Each plant requires different soil, just as each of us has unique circumstances, challenges, and strengths. However, regardless of these differences, every plant needs water, sunlight, and nutrients to grow. Similarly, we must all prioritize our physical, mental, and emotional health to thrive, no matter the environment we find ourselves in. By recognizing our responsibility for our own lives and taking intentional steps to nurture ourselves and the next generation, we can create a strong foundation for growth and success, just like a well-cared-for plant. So as a community, we paused and reassessed our approach. After careful consideration, we made an intentional decision to concentrate on growing cassava because it was a crop we knew could thrive in our local soil. It could endure the harsh conditions of both the rainy and dry season and produce multiple streams of revenue from the leaf down to the root. By doing so, we were being intentional about our resources, which in turn would increase our chances of success and ensure that our efforts would bring forth fruitful results. A farmer's mindset. Cassava continues to grow even in adverse conditions. And we had to adopt the same mindset to be determined to succeed and not let setbacks discourage us, even when it felt like a daily uphill battle. So we made changes. And when I visited the farm a few months later, I was astonished by the transformation that had taken place. The dense bush and trees that had previously covered the entire land had been replaced by vast hectares of flourishing cassava. What was once merely a hopeful dream for us all had now become a tangible reality. This success was only possible because we took responsibility for our mistakes, adapted to change, and persevered through the challenges that come with being a farmer. By doing so, we achieved what once seemed impossible. To reach our full potential in Liberia, we, like plants, must consistently grow and learn. A growth mindset allows us to accept challenges, learn from our mistakes, and develop new skills. Culture and tradition is dynamic, and it is critical that we adapt, learn from the mistakes of others, focus on a clear goal, and be relentless in our pursuit for a better tomorrow. Strong plants produce even stronger seeds. The foundation we lay today is the one that our children will build on tomorrow. Being a farmer teaches us endless lessons that should inspire us to cultivate a mindset built on consistency in order to build a better future for us here in Liberia. As young people, we are the future of our communities, our countries, and the African continent. We are the seeds that will grow and flourish, and our development and growth now are critical to our success and the success of future generations. We must be patient, intentional, persevere, and take ownership of our own lives. We are all farmers in our own way, and I encourage you all to take inspiration from the plant world and apply these lessons to your daily lives. My name is Sergeant Lawrence Kwame Totimeh Jr. Thank you for attending my TED Talk.